Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you, adding in really bad voices, sometimes some music, and I pretend I know what I'm doing. The purpose of this is to allow you to understand what's happening in current comic books and go buy some of the newer ones so you can just jump right in. And today we're going to be continuing our storyline of Spider-Gwen. With Ghost Spider showing up and Into the Spider-Verse, I thought this is the storyline that you guys may be enjoying. Now, just for a quick recap, Spider-Gwen was introduced in her universe where she met up against Peter Parker, who turned into the Lizard. He then died as she tried to save him because she didn't know that it was Peter Parker. And Harry Osborn watched him die in her arms. She's now been exploring her universe, learning about a Captain America, learning about S.H.I.E.L.D., and learning that Harry Osborn may have more up his sleeve than intended. When we last left off in the universe of Spider-Gwen, Harry Osborn was explaining to his friend Gwen Stacy that he had become the Green Goblin and he intended to find Peter Parker's killer and bring her to justice. That killer, or at least as he thought, was actually Spider-Woman, aka Spider-Gwen. And he didn't know that Gwen Stacy was actually Spider-Woman. He decided that he was the only one that could stop her, and he was the only one that could bring Spider-Woman to justice. Flash forward a few nights and Gwen finds herself jumping from rooftop to rooftop in the rain trying to avoid a goblin drone that is chasing her. She ducks behind a wall stating that she knew this was going to happen. She knew they were going to hunt her and that they would catch up. She's sick of feeling like a coward, tired of hiding in the dark. The shadows can pretend, but she's not like them. She catches her breath and gets back up stating, Enough of this! If they want to arrest me for what happened to Peter Parker, fine, I'll go peacefully. But they're gonna have to come down here first and hear my side of it. The drone laughs, asking, Arrest? No. Who said anything about arresting? Just then 2 blades shoot out of the glider and they whiz by, cutting into her arms. More blades begin to fly by and Gwen starts to put her hands together to create a thick ball of webbing. She then grabs a hold of one of the spinning blades, whipping it around at the drone, cutting it into the drone's chest. It explodes, knocking Gwen to the ground, and as she gets back up, Harry himself, the Green Goblin, flies down right in front of her. She grabs her arm, calling out to Harry, stating that she knows who he is. She knows that he was there when his friend died. But she wants him to know that she did not know he was the one inside of it. She was afraid that if she couldn't stop him, if she didn't push so hard, Harry shouts, Liar! He begged you to stop, and yet you toyed with him and laughed at his pain. Gwen tries to say something, but in the back of her mind, she's screaming at herself to just tell him, pull off the mask, tell him that she is Gwen Stacy. He would understand. Gwen then says that she knows what he's going through. She lives through it also. She knows the weight of not being able to stop something, but she can swear to him that none of this is his fault. Harry asks, Is that your side? This is your case? These are the words that you think would make me forget? Just then, more of the goblin drones fly by, chasing after Gwen, forcing her to retreat. As she swings, she tells herself that whatever S.H.I.E.L.D. put him through is not the same Harry Osborn behind that mask. One of the drones rockets by, grabbing Gwen by the throat, and as it squeezes, it starts to fly all around, not killing her. She begins to try and fight back, and they end up flying into a building under construction, with her stating that he's just toying with her, taking his sweet time, drawing it out like she did with the Lizard. She manages to hit the drone and it explodes, throwing her back down to the ground, and another drone jumps down and begins to walk. Gwen gets up and webs a cement tray and flips it up and onto the drone. With the drone slowed down, she grabs a hammer and knocks its head off. She says that she really hates to go all red carpet fashion blogger on him, but what is all of this? Flying hoverboard, Middle-earth Power Ranger thing? It's all a bit too much. Harry flies down asking her, Is that all you do? Talk! And Gwen tells him it's better than standing on the sidelines and acting like you're in the game. Harry pauses and says, Actually, you're right. I can power down all the drones and then we can take a more hands-on approach. He pulls out another small device and he hits a button and a beam shoots out to form a sword. He charges forward, swinging it wildly, but Gwen ducks and grabs him from behind, throwing him up onto the second floor. She then jumps up, webbing Harry's helmet, telling him that all he needs to do is talk to her. They can end this right now. He gets back up, recklessly swinging the sword again, and Gwen pulls back on his helmet, pulling it off, shouting, Just stop and talk to me! This isn't what Peter would have wanted. You have to know that. And Harry tells her, Yeah, just keep talking like you know me. There are things that I've done to get here, and you have no idea what I'm capable of. Gwen begins to hear a ticking by her feet, and when she looks down, she sees a pumpkin bomb, and it explodes, throwing her body through a wall. Harry begins to walk forward, taking off his armor, telling her that she's right. Peter wouldn't have wanted this. Peter idolized her, and wanted nothing more than to be like her. That hope drove him to create this, the Lizard Mutagen. Harry holds up a small green vial. and Gwen tells him to wait as he holds it up, drinking it. He falls to his knees, hunched over in pain, with Gwen running over, asking why would he do that, and he smacks her away, stating that the lizard was his science fair project. Before Peter, it was the experiment that cost Connors his job at Oscorp, a riddle with no solution. When he approached his father to help in recreating Peter's experiment, he thought he was crazy, and he was right. Harry grabs Gwen by the head and pulls her close, telling her that it wasn't until his work with S.H.I.E.L.D. that he was brought to Silk. They jumped at a chance to recreate Peter's work, and along with S.H.I.E.L.D.'s own wounded soldiers, Connors became a lab rat. Silk released the lizards to test them in the field, and S.H.I.E.L.D. delivered the results to his desk. Gwen coughs as she tries to state that he saw what happened to Peter when he took the formula. There's no way that he can. And Harry shouts, I can! I can control it! I am in control! Harry throws Gwen into the wall, and as she begins to pass out, Harry stands over her with a knife, stating that he will defeat her just with Peter's will. He'll be Peter's greatest idea come to life, his justice, his hand striking out from beyond the grave. Harry then reaches down, grabbing the mask and pulling, and Gwen looks up at him, telling him, stop! It's me! It's Gwen! Harry frowns when he sees Gwen without a mask, and he says, no, you can't be! No! No! Elsewhere in the city, George Stacy steps out onto a roof, and Matt Murdock calls back that he wasn't so sure he was going to call. He has questions, just fire away. Wait, scratch that, poor choice of words. George tells him that's enough. He's here because he offered to help his family to protect his family from Frank Castle's investigation. Why? Why the hell would he ever trust the new kingpin of crime? Matt points to his shirt, stating, Kingpin? Moi? Captain, I'm just a blind servant of justice. Why, I can't even dress myself. George grabs Matt by the shirt, telling him, don't you dare play dumb. My daughter's life isn't currency in your stupid game. Matt swings his cane, knocking George back, asking, feeling helpless and threatened? Good. Now you know how the rest of them feel. I may not have cameras and wiretaps, but that doesn't mean I'm not watching. It doesn't take a genius to figure it all out. Hell, Castle did. I know your daughter's secret. I know that Gwen Stacy is Spider-Woman. That much was suspected after you were saved not once, but twice, Mr. Stacy. George gets back up, telling him that he still doesn't know why he would help. And Matt says, come on! Who hates the police more than me? Who else has any hope of stopping me? Who else can? And George stops him, stating that he wants Gwen as a foot soldier. Matt laughs, stating, Gwen is out there risking her neck all the time because you drilled your stupid dad cop nonsense into her skull. The spider that bit Gwen didn't make her Spider-Woman, you did. Some of Matt's ninjas jump down, and George reaches for his gun, stating, I knew this was a setup. And Matt, using his cane, holds George's arm, telling him, easy there. If I wanted you dead, that would have happened a long time ago. Matt throws his arm around George, telling him, we're here for you. But not you in a manner of speaking. We aren't here to kill you. Matt has George look over the ledge, and he sees Frank drinking next to his car. And George tells him, you can't kill Frank Castle. Matt laughs, telling him, that's where you're wrong. You're the only one who can. As the ninjas jump down and they begin to attack Frank, Matt says that Frank's life is in his hands. He can live or die if he wishes. George grabs Matt, telling him, you would never. I refuse to be a part of. But Matt grabs George, pinning him, telling him, Frank is nothing to me or my business. You can do the right thing. Be the man that protects your family. Open Schrodinger's box. Does Frank Castle live or die? George punches back on Matt, telling him no. Gwen would never join him for doing something like that. You're betting this all on a gamble. If you were going to kill Castle, that would mean that you'd be showing your cards. In turn, showing your true face. Matt breaks away laughing. And just as one of his ninjas gets ready to strike down on Frank, Matt snaps his fingers. And Matt tells him, well played. You've got your wish. Nothing will happen to Frank Castle. George grabs his gun and he begins to fire, but Matt disappears in a puff of smoke. Back with Gwen and Harry. Captain America stands outside with Dollar Dog, asking, are you sure that they're both in there? Peggy radios, wait, don't you dare go in there. And Cap tells her that she saw it in Spider-Woman's eyes back in the tunnel. Whatever she's got going on, it's driving her to get things right. It's up to her to make sure that she has a chance. Cap follows the hissing sound and Harry shouts, lies! Everyone lies to me! No more lies! Cap holds up her shield, telling Harry, all right, son, come and get some truth then. Gwen begins to blink and her vision comes into focus and she sees Cap moving in on Harry and tells Harry no. Cap runs into Harry with her shield, lifting him up, pinning him into a wall, asking, is this what you want? Revenge? Redemption? Cap reaches into her pocket, pulling out a syringe of suppressant, stating, whatever it is, it's over now. This is what my daddy used to call a coming to Jesus moment. Harry reaches out, grabbing Cap by the arm, stating that he will not let her take this chance away. I'm still in control. Just then, Harry's glider activates activates its defense mode, and it begins to shoot out more pumpkin bombs. The bombs begin to stick to the walls, and Cap sees them, holding up her shield when there's a loud boom. Gwen groans as she tries to get back up, and there's a voice in her head asking if she's still in there. She groans a response, and the voice tells her that her name is Director Carter of S.H.I.E.L.D., Captain America's boss. And Gwen asks, how am I hearing you? Because if you're a ghost, that would be totally cool. Peggy sighs, telling her no, she's bouncing a signal off of Cap's helmet radio and beaming it into her skull via, never mind. Just remember phone taps are nothing. Gwen looks around saying, oh God, Harry, what happened to Harry? And Peggy says that she'll be the one asking the questions here. For now, she's going to need to use the mutagen suppressant that Cap was about to use. There should be several doses in Cap's belt. Gwen pulls them out and says that she's got them, sir. Ma'am. Gwen starts to get back up, and as she looks over, she sees Harry's arm lying on the ground, and she asks, How could anyone survive that? Peggy tells her because he has the mutagen, it seeks out trauma and regenerates it after injury. Bolsters weakness. The second generation is stronger and faster, but burns like wildfire. Given time, it will replace its host completely. Gwen looks at her hand, stating that she can't hurt anyone else. And Peggy tells her to listen. She would never have risked any of this if Cap wasn't so certain about her. So far, S.H.I.E.L.D. has been kept away from all of this solely based on her belief. But that window is closing. It is your time to shine. Gwen puts back on her mask and she grabs Cap's shield. And following the blood trail left by Harry, she inches closer to the sounds. Harry holds up his newly formed arm and he says, "Hey Gwen, nice shield. Are you here to slay the dragon?" Harry gets up lunging forward, but he stops himself, fighting off the urge to try and kill Gwen. But Gwen tells him that she can't let him run. Not again. Not like this. Harry struggles and says that he will not let them take him. "I just want to do the right thing." Gwen pauses for a moment and says, "Nah, that's crap. You did this because you're wounded and helpless. Because all the other kids used to call you soft and rich. You were always terrified that they were right. As wrong as what Peter did, seeing what he was capable of made you feel small. Hell, it made me feel small too, but now I'm trying to take responsibility to own up to what I did wrong." Harry gets up, telling her, "You lied to me." And Gwen tells him, "Yeah, I did, and there's nothing I can do to change it. All I can do now is give you the truth. Sometimes people aren't who you remember them to be. Real people, real lives, they're flawed. Sometimes they think they're weak or even wrong, even heroes. Spider-Woman versus the Green Goblin? Is that what we really want our future to be? Is this who you want to be?" Harry looks at himself, stating, "I thought I could control it." And Gwen holds out the suppressant, stating that there is still a chance. Take your life back. Harry asks why. "After everything I've done, why would you give this to me?" And Gwen tells him because she isn't a cop or a soldier. She doesn't want to fight him or see him dead or dissected or rotting in a cell. She knows that he can make this right, but the question is, does he want to? Harry sticks himself with a syringe, stating that he guesses he's going to have to, and Gwen leans over to give him a hug. As Harry starts to change back, he asks, what about S.H.I.E.L.D.? How is she going to explain this? And Gwen says not sure. She did lift the enchanted S.H.I.E.L.D. Maybe she can talk her way out of this. Gwen then looks back and tells him, actually, she's going to try the truth for once. They say it sets you free. With that, Harry covers himself and he runs. Later that day, George Stacy sits on his porch and Gwen asks from the rooftop, "Rough day at the office?" She hops down, and as she sits, George throws a file on the ground. Gwen looks at it and asks, "What's this?" And George tells her that this is the case that he will never solve, the promise that he will never be able to keep, the mystery of the disappearing lizard, the true killer of Peter Parker. Gwen starts to flip through the papers asking, what does it all mean? And Gwen takes a sip of his drink, stating that they never found the lizard after Peter died, never even looked. All because they saw Spider-Woman flee the scene and then later return to help people. They'd never seen a more guilty conscience. "I wanted so bad to find the lizard to prove your innocence so that you could have some closure." Gwen begins to state that she can explain, but George stops her, stating, "Don't. He knows the truth about what happened that day, and she kept it a secret for a reason. If there's anything that he learned over the years, it's that secrets aren't always lies, and facts aren't always truth." George grabs the file, stating that he's seen her world now, and he's decided that it's okay if he doesn't know the whole truth because he trusts her that she does know it. Nothing that he can say will keep her from being Spider-Woman, and he won't ever understand it, but he doesn't need to, because it's not what she needs from him. He quit the force today. No more being a cop, because anyone can do that. From now on, he's going to be a dad. He takes the file, tossing it into the trash can, and then he throws in a match. As the file starts to burn, Gwen says that she met Captain America. And George asks, "Did you get a number for me?" And Gwen shouts, "Ew, no." George then asks, "So is it a Spider-Woman day or a stay and play day?" "I recorded Dad Cop." And Gwen asks, "What kind of question is that?" Dad Cop is the best. And there you have it. That leaves us off in the first major arc in Spider-Gwen. Now it jumps into Kissing in the Tree, a storyline we covered a while ago, in which she kind of teamed up with Miles Morales, and I'll give you that link down below. The next video on our Spider-Gwen saga is going to be following all of that. We're going to be following up with what happened after Kissing in the Tree, and we're going to be continuing the storyline of Spider-Gwen. The plan is to bring you this series every Wednesday, and if you subscribe to the channel, you'll be getting this story leading all the way up to Into the Spider-Verse to prep you for an epic Spider-Man adventure. Don't forget to follow us over at twitch.tv/EligibleMonster, where you can find me and the team bringing you various behind-the-scenes podcast views of us doing various things. Twitch.tv/EligibleMonster. Hope to see you there, and I'll see you next time right here at Comicstorian.